learned from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you're ready to get back into the stock market. Last week was crazy, and this week, it's gonna probably be crazy, but a little less. And what I'm about to tell you may sound a little bit more crazy. I think it's gonna be a little bullish. Now, I thought that last week, and if you don't remember, last week was very historic. It was a huge consecutive decline. We hit a new low every day. But if you see where we closed on Friday, we barely closed red on the week. So, we're gonna see what happens. We have one key event, and if you want it right now, it is the 13 Fs. That's why I'm feeling bullish. I'm bringing the bulls out. I got Piggy here too to remind here, earmuffs. Pigs get slaughtered though, okay? So keep that in mind. Anything can happen, okay? So we good, Piggy, we good. But that's what I'm trying to say. Depending on these 13 Fs, we're going to talk about it a little bit. It might end up being a little bullish, but on top of it, you also got Powell and you're also getting earnings. So we got a lot to go over, a couple of events on the weekends. I even got a couple of plays and then really what we expect to play out. So drop your thumbs up on that video and make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com. It's in there. It's /the stock market. We'll see you there in the morning and be positive. It's fun. And also too, random account picker. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. We need your help. Here's the random account picker. What we ask on this watch list, post a random option trade, strike price expiration, keep it below $100, preferably with time. And we're going to pick one randomly in the morning and see the performance. So Clean Kings, the KMIs, that was last week. I like them. They haven't hit. They're staying around the same price, so we will see. But you get paid. If I hit, you hit. So let's go, baby. But as far as what we're going to get this week, I'm just going to start with my bullish thesis. Why do I expect things might be more bullish than not? Because tomorrow, Monday, that is the deadline for the 13 Fs. So what is that? That is the hedge funds. Anybody owning a certain percentage of a company, they have to file what they own and if they made any changes. This is usually where we find out which hedge funds bought, what did they buy, what did they sell, what did they add to, what did they completely cut out of, all of that stuff. But now this is where it gets important because I'm sure you've seen these over the last couple of days kind of leading into this, and we've seen a bunch of random pops, and now this is why I think it could be bullish. It might have a weird psychological effect. And what do I mean by that is that we are going to get these 13 Fs and we're going to find out what a bunch of people bought, but some people probably bought during the middle of like everything when it was really bad, even the last weeks, but then some of them, they may have bought in a couple weeks ago at different prices. So I wonder what sort of impact this is going to have, but pretty much in the next 24, 48 hours, we're probably going to find out about a lot of people putting millions and billions of dollars into certain names. And maybe after Buffett a couple weeks ago and then this, we might get a little bit of a bounce, especially with the fact that we bounced on Friday and then over the weekend, there wasn't anything too crazy to stop it. So that's the first big thing this week. Thankfully, by the end of the day tomorrow, we should get most of them, but that's what I'm looking out for. And then depending on that type of, first step for the week, then we'll really get to see, all right, are we going to get that mini bounce or is it kind of back to the gulag and all of the volatility? So there is that. But then in the middle of the week here, we are also going to hear from Powell again. So remember, we had him on Friday and he even said a soft landing is outside of his control. I don't know how the market ended up liking that and we closed up almost 4%, but still, whatever Powell says, it will be important. But I think it's going to rely on new information. If he could get away with saying that on Friday and we don't get a market reaction, maybe the market is just going to wait to react till we get the Fed meetings. But you also got Powell this week. And then on top of it, this is where we're going to get a lot of plays, I think, too. You have a bunch of earnings for the retail companies. So you're going to get retail sales. And like we said last week, with people talking about recession, and we got an update on that. But, hard data, soft data, that's going to be important. So you get retail sales this week, but then on top of that, you're going to be getting Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, and a lot of these bigger market cap retail companies. Depending on how they do, that could be good. And now that we get the earnings, remember, some of those consumer staples or good retail stocks, the big blue chips people like, those have outperformed. Maybe this is that earnings that'll set them to either underperform or solidify kind of that safe haven status. So there is also that. I don't know if you heard that burp, but as far as the rest of the week, or even now, what happened over the weekend that will dictate a lot of this week, just remember, we had a very, very big bounce, and now people were like, okay, first bounce of the week there, it gets us off the lows. Are we going to retest it, or will we get a little bit more of this? Okay, everything's like really sold off, peak pessimism. Is that going to be the play? And really now over the weekend, some things got worse, but some things were a little bit bullish. So let's start with something that was bad. Goldman, they came out over the weekend and they said they're expecting more recession. That's what actually Chief, what was his name? Lloyd Blankfein, I say Blankfein, I don't know how to say it, but he said there could be a recession and companies and consumers need to prepare. So that was negative there on the banking side and people talking about it. We'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But then there was another banking note, and a lot of people were just talking about over the weekend now how bonds have become attractive and we may start seeing a bid on them. So we're going to watch how that plays out. But those were two developments. And then this could affect the whole Europe, Russia, gas, all of that stuff. But Finland and Sweden, they made some agreement here on Sunday to get them into NATO. So they're moving forward with that. And then crypto, good and bad. It's still a little bit weak. Some people, like I think it was Binance CEO, he was talking about how this shows how stable Bitcoin is now after dealing with the whole terror situation. But then on top of it, Cathie Wood, she announced she's buying more Coinbase. And now this relates to some of those 13S where people are getting into it. And I believe the Walton family, Walmart, I think they actually bought into Coinbase as well. And there was a release on that. So we're going to watch how all of this compounds coming into tomorrow. But it should be a simple week. We'll see if people get excited with the hedge fund buys, if the bounce from Friday keeps them going, what Powell is going to do, and then if there's any soft or hard economic data that could show us some stuff, we will see what happens. Oh yeah, you're also going to get housing data too. So interest rate sensitive, interest rate, all that, it's important, okay? But as far as the plays, I got a couple that I'm looking at. So right off the bat, we said it earlier, Home Depot, Walmart, Lowe's, Target, I think those can move big. And now if you remember, we made a crazy play on Boeing on Friday. This one, it was like 1,200% in like 5 minutes, but this one was on a daily contract. So pretty much before and after the earnings, I want to try to play some of these, more defensive consumer staple names that have earnings. I want short terms and I want midterm contracts, but I do think these ones are going to move again, especially if we get any activity and you do get a bullish reaction, any sort of earnings from those, we may get a bigger earnings reaction than kind of what we've seen so far. But I really, really like those. Definitely keep your eye on those. And then number 2, KMI, Kinder Morgan, and ConocoPhillips. I like them. And here's Conoco. We have a bunch of these August ones, but do you guys notice something about this chain? These options have stayed the same price for at least a month or two. And even though they have time, pretty much this is the option getting more expensive. This is why I haven't bought any more of them yet. So if the shorter terms decline, maybe we could get one, but those would be risky. But pretty much I like the plays for oil. That's why I have that future. We actually bounced back up. I'm only down like $100, $200 on that, but I really like oil this week. We should be expecting a bill from Nancy Pelosi. Remember, we got a little hint of that last week, so we'll see how that one plays out. But I really, really like oil coming into this. Gonna keep an eye on it, but it all really just depends on the news. Again, China lockdown stuff or anything of that nature. And hopefully tonight we should get positive lockdown news out of China, but we will see. And then finally, this one's a little risky. Coinbase. Again, a lot of talks about it. Crypto is really, really beaten down. You're watching people buy in, but again, the Waltons just bought into it. And then Cathie Woods, it's already moved up like 50% from that low that it was at. So we will see how it plays out, but I think that one could be very interesting. Gonna be watching that, but everything else, we're gonna be watching the levels, see how it plays. I will be doing some back and forth trades. Again, I don't think the volatility is over. If we can identify a bounce, it'll be great, but that does not mean the story is over, ladies and gentlemen. We are still in peak volatility. Whatever the Fed does, Powell, the data, anything, it could dictate a lot. But we finally got a breather, and hopefully we actually get one this week. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. And Chad, I'll see you there in the morning. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate, healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet on. I need you to remember, baby, everybody goes through the storm. The good, the bad. The rain shines on the just and unjust alike. But the storm eventually ends, baby. So let's see what happens. But I love you, Chad. God bless you. Have a good weekend. It's a good week. I almost forgot the stock market was crashing this weekend. And there wasn't crazy though. So hopefully it comes back to normal. Okay, I love you. I'll see you in the morning. Get ready. Go drink water. Sleep good.